Hello and welcome to RCG's Insurance Practices webinar, Achieving a Zero Back Office. In other words, moving to a completely digital and 100% automated support processes, allowing your team to focus on expanding the customer base and improving the customer experience. Before we begin, I'd like to do a brief introduction. My name is Charles Seibert, RCG's Insurance Practice Lead with over 20 years of insurance strategy and delivery experience. I would like to introduce my colleague, Rob Nelson.
Hey everyone, and thank you for joining. I'm Rob Nelson, and I lead our intelligent innovation practice focused on AI, cognitive, intelligent automation. I have a background in strategy, business, and performance improvement, and I've worked with great companies like GE and implementing AI for over 10 years. Nice to meet you all, and thank you, Charles, for having me.
Thank you for being here. Before we talk about Zero Back Office, a brief background about RCG Insurance's practice. RCG has been providing services to the insurance industry for over 40 years, with over 300 global insurance resources, of which 70% work U.S. hours. We can provide comprehensive business outcome-focused deliveries. We can start from strategy and finish with sustainment using a combination of technology, accelerators, and innovative solutions for the breadth of personal, commercial, specialty, and lifelines of insurance. Combining our people's experience with marquee partnerships like Microsoft, AWS, and Automation Anywhere, and we can solve any business or technical challenges you may have. We're also very proud to be recognized by Novarica as an established IT service provider for 2021. Now you know a little bit about us, let's talk about the considerable business challenge companies are facing. The almost 35% increase in insurance administration costs over the past decade, according to McKinsey. This is an amazing statistic given that a digital experience investment, customer innovation, and other cost-saving measures that have been rolled out. Rob, where do you think insurance companies should focus their efforts?
Oh, that's a great question, Charles. It's not an easy one to answer because there are many opportunities and places to start. But we're looking for the biggest value for our efforts. Inefficiencies that lead to loss of profit will appear across the enterprise and manifest in multiple areas. So start with some basic questions to look for symptoms and signs of opportunity. Are your teams frequently missing their deadlines because of unplanned activities or because work is taking longer to complete due to convoluted internal processes? Is your turnover increasing with unsatisfied employees becoming frustrated with the overhead to accomplish their job or being asked to do more with less, which I know you're familiar with?
Oh, yes.
It's no secret that the public doesn't like insurance companies. I'm excluded because I love mine, but
One of the few.
it is your insured satisfaction that could be on a decline year over year. Are they declining? And do you see your hit ratio dropping because either your underwriters can't respond quickly enough or your premiums are always higher than the competition? So lastly, do you have a transparent reporting of your business activities frequently? Can you perform a drill down through to diagnose the issues? Are you limited in analytical capabilities due to your data? All of these are signs that profit-destroying processes are occurring through your organization. They're killing your margin. Charles, you're really the expert in insurance. I think you've seen just about everything out there. How do you see the insurance companies solving this issue?
Well, according to a variety of studies, solving this challenge can actually return 20 to 40% of the company's revenue through the zero back office concept. The vision is to deliver nearly 100% of the support processes, like policy updates, billing, accounting, claims, underwriting, to name a few, through automated efforts, with any manual task being purposely manual. The back office team members are then able to focus on value-added activities, like exception handling, other tasks that can't be automated. Meeting this goal is very challenging, given the current state of the insurance technology that is still heavily dependent upon mainframes. But we can accomplish this through modern automation, cloud hybrid technology, system enhancements, data sharings, or even process changes. Rob, from your customer marketing point of view, which I know you do a lot of stuff, what do you see as the hallmarks of a highly efficient insurance organization?
Something I like to think about because we're seeing a lot of firms focus on becoming high-performing, what we call sentient organizations. And it's quite a journey, but one of the most crucial aspects is empowering and engaged staff where the culture is one of cooperation, collaboration, and trust. And it's really focused around delighting customers. The most precious resource you have are people, and we need to help our teams focus on what they do best, solving customer issues, building and maintaining loyalty, and pursuing new business opportunities. So we want to use technology to delegate the repetitive day-to-day boring tasks with intelligent automation with these digital workers that will work happily 24 by 7, no vacations, in a high quality, no complaint fashion. Now you know that this has become pretty standard in some of the personal lines, but it's also possible on the commercial lines, even specialty, through AI and other technologies and capabilities. The customer will perform nearly every transaction through self-service, such as the certification request, endorsements. Core systems are exposed to the insured so that they can transact. And lastly, you'll see a simplified application landscape. So there are many supporting applications for policy, billing, and claims. And overarching all of this is knowing your customer and meeting them on their terms. You'll see everything the company does is focused on ensuring a frictionless experience and one that delights the customer. You don't have to sacrifice an amazing experience. In fact, you can absolutely delight a customer. Charles, how do you propose to achieve a zero back office?
Well, there is the always cliche that says the first step is the hardest, and today that still holds true. The currency of the digital world is data, moving data between systems. Data management continues to be and always will be one of the most significant challenges that we face, where we are data rich but information poor. The data challenges range from the complexity of following a customer through their various disparate policy, billing, and claims systems, with the more simplistic issues trying to figure out what is a customer or household. I've sat in meetings for hours debating about what is considered a household. Other challenges are actually accessing the data itself. Policy admin systems sometimes are not the most friendly of giving back data extracts. Or even worse, the data stored within the claim system in notes that look like a novel. Pulling that data together is not simple, but it definitely is achievable. We look at tools like data lakes, data manipulation tools like Data Factory, Databricks, that enable a cleansing and standardization. These tools extract from any source, cleanse it, standardize it, and enrich it through a set of automated processes that can run on a daily basis and deliver to whatever storage technique you want. In RCG, we've been able to perfect the ability for us to be able to split the work into two key areas. The first is the heavy lifting by data SMEs. Let them do the figuring out of the difficult SQL. But then give the technical BAs that are closer to the business direct access to this, allowing them to do the mapping. This creates a very solid foundation, business intelligent and business aware. Now, there's always that concern of, well, we have to have all of this data before we start. Well, reality, you don't. You can start with a very small subset of data elements to enable the back office effort. For example, start with customer data and then identify each person uniquely. Later, we apply identity resolution. So now that I've given you a solid data foundation, Rob, what can you do with it?
Wow, well, that's a really great background. And Charles, really now the fun begins. I mean, with good data, data is the fuel for everything. We can use AI to find new business insights or provide personalized product offerings and the like. But before we jump into the details, let's talk first about the different types of AI. We have artificial intelligence, which is having the machine perform human tasks with clear expectations and boundaries. Machine learning adds to the AI ability to learn over time through human interactions and to learn new behaviors and nuances of the task. Deep learning, very advanced, is the newest and most exciting branch, trying to use software-based calculations to mimic human comprehension and make decisions based on the situation without human input. Deep learning is a ways away in some way in the insurance world, but insurance companies are just now starting to use machine learning that has been out for decades, actually. It's not new. We are seeing AI be used throughout the policy lifecycle to deliver some fantastic results. Capturing the customer, we see trends like hyper-personalization to target customers individually with tailored product offerings. And during the underwriting process, actually I was in one today we also see that augmented analysis reviews all the various data points, historical knowledge with the customer and similar customers to generate the optimum price, balancing risk and propensity to buy.
When you were in that automated piece, was it very user-friendly and very transparent to you, or how did it go?
Yeah, I think the automation part is pretty cool. And AI can detect fraud also at the front end and flag it for an adjuster to review, as well as making the process more efficient. So during the adjudication process, AI can help by making recommendations on setting up reserves to quantify damages from pictures to supporting settlement offers. We've even seen the use of drone aerial photography to initiate claims based on AI. But how do we get to newer applications to meet the insured's needs is really a question I have.
So the big challenge there is of how do I get this mainframe, this mammoth application that we've developed over the decades, to be interactive, be dynamic, involve customer interactions. That cost to migrate is very expensive, and chances are it's going to fail. I know I sound like doom and gloom, but there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and no, it's not an oncoming train. We have the ability now to tackle this challenge through cloud-native technologies such as Kubernetes and Dockers. Cloud-native technologies empower organizations to build and run applications in modern dynamic environments, such as private, public, or hybrid clouds. We can containerize them, service messages, microservices, and immutable infrastructure to help us get there. When we containerize mainframe logic, we're able to put it in the cloud, scale up and scale down as we need to, and then build microservices. So now you actually have an internal software as a service. Now, the interesting piece is we can then take that technology and take our time to unwind it. One of the big challenges we have right nowadays is everyone is retiring with the mainframe knowledge and outwalks that knowledge. While we put it up in the cloud, we have that ability to unwind it at a later date and let it run. But how do we, now that I give you analytics, how does this improve the data sharing between the systems?
Oh, that's a great question. The technology and data analysis methodology has come a long way from the old simple graph charts to modern dashboards, augmented analysis, and even machine learning model and tools. And we can harness the terabytes, petabytes of structured and unstructured data generated every day. And that unstructured data is really a gold mine. To find that needle in the haystack through modern data modeling techniques. AI enables us to review volumes of data and run millions of scenarios that are just humanly impossible. And if there was a natural disaster or catastrophe, for example, we could monitor social media for policyholders asking for help, or the general public's view of the event handling, or as I mentioned, mass photographic imagery being captured by drones flying over rooftops checking out for damage. This information can be funneled to the marketing claims departments to take action, initiate automated procedures to engage customers and adjusters. And even more impressive is the ability to build predictive modeling tools and dynamic pricing so we can really be competitive and review the application and recommend the pricing range to balance risk versus reward, optimize that, and increase the chance of purchase based on the individual's customer profile. It's super helpful in the specialty areas with underwriting to use this experience to price the risk, but now we can provide a consistent objective rating support. Charles, I know you're very passionate about intelligent automation and the creation of a digital workforce. How does intelligent automation and RPA support the zero back office? What are the best opportunities? What are progressive clients doing with AI?
The concept of a zero back office is really backboned on automation technology. The capabilities have come such a long way. I remember back in the day doing record playback for testing. Today, AI has a variety of use cases. The simpler ones are RPA, robotic process automation, for short. Their tools can perform tasks with very clear input and output. Pick up a piece of document, drop it off in another location, and able to follow those exact business rules, as you mentioned before, 24/7 with no complaints. The process of updating websites, such as medical licensing boards or medical malpractices or pulling down data from external sites, is a great opportunity for these. Very simple, very able to be automated. But using RPA, we can even create input spreadsheets to start that robot on a given schedule, update the information. And even more impressive, it doesn't even need to be involved by a human. Your policy admin system could create a document, drop it in a preferred location, and then the robot will pick it up and carry out the task. The next level is about cognitive automation, where we use unstructured data to drive that automation. In the claims world, we're inundated with mountains of physical and digital paper every single day. Some of it can be automated through reading and barcode and determine where it's supposed to go. But if we combine optical character recognition, OCR, and cognitive automation, we have the ability to take any inbound document, identify who it's from, where it needs to go based upon the claim number or involved parties. And we could do a lookup internally and make sure it gets to the adjuster. And even further step of that is notify them via diary.
Wow.
Or even send an email back to the person who sent it us saying, we thank you for your document, we appreciate it, we'll be in touch on a given day.
Wow.
This RPA takes it next level. Think about the next level would be unstructured data. Think about the number of emails, social media requests, and other communications that are received on a daily basis. And then think about the staff that takes the document and respond to those messages. Well, with cognitive automation, we have the ability to analyze it, sort it, route it, and even respond to it. When there's challenges, the RPA bot would simply kick out an exception. That would involve the human to go figure out what happened, and then also create a self-learning loop. So the next time the robot hits that kind of situation, it takes the appropriate answer. But now I'd like to introduce all of you to one of our marquee partners, Automation Anywhere. They can provide us with a more detailed look in the state of automation within insurance.
I'm Ken Mertzel, Global Industry Leader for Financial Services Automation Anywhere. I spent nearly my entire career in the insurance and financial services industries, so I can relate to the automation journey that most of you are going through. Today, I'd like to briefly share with you why RPA is being adopted across the industry, and then give you some specific use cases where RPA is being applied in insurance. First of all, RPA is being used to meet all the strategic objectives of most insurance companies. Initially, companies bring in RPA to help drive operational efficiency, to lower costs and streamline manual processes, but ultimately they find significant additional benefits, such as improving customer experience, improving underwriting of insurance risk, driving innovation, and most importantly, empowering their employees by automating manual repetitive processes, enabling them to focus on more strategic value-added analyses. Increasingly, we're seeing RPA used as part of a broader digital workforce. And that workforce needs to include A, the ability to identify processes for automation, leveraging products such as DiscoveryBot. Second, the ability to extract data from unstructured and semi-structured documents using technologies such as IQBot that apply computer vision and machine learning to extract information on an intelligent basis. Next, companies use RPA to automate processes both on an unattended basis where bots run in the background, but also on an attended basis where bots can be used as a digital assistant in real time. And in addition, it's critical to have smart analytics that let you know not only how the bots are running, but equally importantly, how your business operations are running, given all the data that's flowing through the platform. So one of the most common questions I get asked is how do you apply RPA within insurance, and where should I get started? So some of the most common areas within insurance are listed here. I'd say first and foremost, claims is probably one of the most common areas for automation. And for those that are familiar with the process, it makes sense given, again, the manually intensive and document intensive nature of the process. And I'll give you some specific examples there shortly. In addition, another very common area of usage is in policyholder service. So handling basic customer service requests, anywhere from information updates or billing updates. In addition, RPA is being increasingly used to assist in underwriting and actuarial functions by helping source internal and external data that can be leveraged for risk analysis. Also, for those companies that manage agencies, RPA can be used to help set up agents and manage licensing and compensation. And then the last two columns here are not only unique to insurance, but very critical in terms of helping to manage data anywhere from mining and validating data, as well as supporting all of the corporate functions such as finance, HR, and IT. Within finance, very common use cases are around managing invoice processing and accounts payable, or automating manual reconciliations. As I mentioned earlier, RPA is used extensively within claims, and you can see here a heat map showing those areas that have the highest potential for automation, as shown in dark or light orange. Again, those areas being ones where it tends to be very manual, repetitive, and document intensive in nature. Probably the most common area where we're seeing usage is in first notice of loss and setting up the initial claim file. And the reason and the benefits that we're seeing in claims are not only to reduce loss adjustment expenses, but by leveraging RPA, you can also accelerate the claim cycle time, increase payment accuracy, and most importantly, optimize the utilization of claims adjusters by having them focus on the most complex cases and instead using RPA to handle those more simple tasks. In terms of where we're seeing successful implementation of RPA, we typically see three critical success factors. First, it's important to select the right processes. Again, look for those processes that tend to be high volume, high frequency, manual, data intensive, and rules based. Second, it's important to start small and then scale fast. Initially, do a proof of concept to get familiar with the technology, develop a video and socialize that across the organization, but then quickly look for opportunities to identify significant scale and generate a high return on investment. And then lastly, it's important to organize your efforts for success. So typically organizations form a small center of excellence with program management and technology skills, but then form a federated model where they appoint individuals across the organization to act as leads for each of their businesses to identify and design opportunities for automation. So thank you for your time today, and I wish you all success on your automation journey.
Thank you, Automation Anywhere. That was some really great information. In summary, selling policies in 2020 requires insurance providers to reinvent themselves into a customer-oriented, digital, and agile business. Customers demand the one-click Amazon experience. To meet that demand, we are looking to the Zero Back Office to rapidly deploy process automation, creating a digital employee to reduce the 20 to 40% of revenue lost in internal operations. So, Rob, what are some important key steps that insurance providers can take to achieve this back office?
Oh, thanks, Charles. I mean, it really depends on where the organization is in their journey. But here's a couple of critical steps to tackle this challenge with the progressive zero back office program. Really, one, identify those key pain points that drive cost and inefficiency, like we talked about. They could be policy processing, IT data processing, customer engagement, where reworking customer-facing processes and architectures could be done to eliminate manual data collection and paper. Again, inspect those areas and understand where you are today. Evaluate and inventory where paper is still being used. The zero back office cannot be achieved as long as there's paper and manual processes remain in the mix. That doesn't mean you have to take out a manual review or intervention step for exceptions and so forth, but you really want to take as much of that out as you can. And another thing you can do is create a zero back office tiger team, a strategic program, focus on it, put some key milestones out there and drive your program. And you could create or leverage an existing automation COE, Center of Excellence, an intelligent automation strategy, roadmap, and program that focuses on and supports the zero back office transformation. Firms have successfully taken different approaches to the COE and kickstarting and scaling automation initiatives. So there's a lot to be learned. We've worked with many clients on that. So check out our ebook on the RPA automation and build out your pipeline of the most valuable opportunities and use cases based on impact and value, and build that funnel and build those bots, build that digital workforce.
So that makes sense. To make the most of your return, an automation strategy needs to be focused on zero back office objectives that should combine both quick wins and longer term goals, opportunities, and development with the emphasis on scaling up over time in a very transformative way. Before we open up the floor for questions, I'd like to thank all of you for taking time out of your very busy schedules to attend today. As a quick recap, the Zero Back Office is becoming the standard with fully automated business processes. Accomplishing this task is combining of many capabilities, such as AI providing new insights and hyper-personalization, hybrid technologies blending legacy systems with modern technologies, and automation of simplistic tasks, allowing your staff to focus on the true business-changing efforts. All of this is underpinned by a solid foundation of quality enterprise-wide data that is quickly exchanged between all systems. And the final point I will leave you with is this. The technology is compelling and continues to be ever increasingly sophisticated, but don't forget about your teams. The pace and change of effectiveness of the organization and the implementation ability directly correlates to the ability to accept and understand this change. At RCG, we see our role in helping organizations embrace this cognitive era with innovation in a way that is smarter, faster, and achieves outcomes that really matter while reducing overall risk. We're here to help you make it all real, especially when achieving your zero back office goals and digital transformation. We would love to partner with you, so please let us know how we can help. Again, thank you for attending, and now I'd like to open the floor to your questions.